This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Alex Cox and Merlin Mann. This week's challenge, externalize something internal.
Hello, Merlin Mann.
Hello. I don't know. I've been watching The Crown, and I'm finding it very easy to lapse into Gillian Anderson as Margaret Thatcher.
Gillian Anderson as Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah,
do that hello again, please.
Well, I'm not real. Okay. Hello.
There we go.
This is Due by Friday, a weekly challenge podcast. One able. Did you watch The Crown? It's really good.
I watched up until McNulty became the prince, and then I left. I forget.
I think that's
why.
the last. That's what we're on right now. I think that's the last uniformly strong season. But yeah, that season 4 before that, season 4. That's a really, really good. That's when they first introduced Diana and Margaret Thatcher.
She's a little wood sprite. Hello. I forget what she says.
Remember her looking out the window with her little mask on?
God.
Oh my God. She's so awfully good. And you know what? I'm going to say, I keep saying this over and over in a way that I'm sure comes across as creepy. Look, yes, I'm very attracted to Elizabeth Debicki. It is known.
Oh boy. Okay. Go on.
You think it's weird to be attracted to people?
Yes. Okay. That's what I said.
Oh, cool. All right. That makes a ton of sense. But I want to set that aside and just say she is magical as the second, slightly older Princess Diana. Her portrayal is I don't know if you're old enough to clock this, but like she's really got the physicality, the expressions, the carriage, that coquettishness that made everybody love her. Great casting.
I'm looking at this woman now, and it's very here's what's creepy, and a creepy thing that I do. When you watch, why am I doing this? Emma Watson, for one of my first crushes. And then, you go back and watch Harry Potter and it's like, oh, that's upsetting. That's so upsetting. And not even because she is like little, even this morning when I was watching,
what's upsetting
Almost
about
Famous. It's, I don't know. It's,
well, because she's a kid?
And more so that as a child, I found other people attractive. That's what's upsetting to me. And I'm watching...
That is so odd, Alex.
Why? Not really.
You're not actually upset about that. Are you making that up?
It's a...
What else should you be attracted to as a person? Should you not find people attractive?
Unironically, you weren't supposed to, and not because it was a other girl. It was like, no. If it is, you are coveting something, and then
is this like a Catholic adjacent thing?
Yes, not adjacent.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Very, very.
Did they actually teach you that, or is that just something you kind of picked up? Do you feel like?
No, it was less so in high school because I was lucky enough to go to a high school that was like a little more rooted in reality and had fewer pedophiles. So I
gotta say, if you're gonna go to a high school, in retrospect, it's good to have gone to a high school that's rooted in reality. Yeah,
it was one of those,
because the other options are, talk about upsetting. You know what I mean? Like, what if you went in and your teacher was Burger King?
Your teacher was Burger King.
Yeah, the mascot for the fast food chain
was Burger. Oh God, that's going to be one of those. Well, because that
would be less based and grounded in reality. I feel like.
I mean,
unless he has good credentials, I don't know.
He is a king.
It's because I'm royal and you are servile.
Do you remember what this week's challenge was? Because I'm already just laying it out there, and
Oh,
it's very upsetting.
I
No,
do.
you don't know.
I've already done the introduction.
Oh,
And
okay.
I feel yes.
Oh,
But so covetousness is a big Old Testament thing that gets applied, I feel like, in a lot of ways and in a lot of different ways, right? Because it's in, the commandments. And but the covetedness, you know how like I'm like such a dick about words, and like what's
you
worse is that sometimes I'm an only slightly informed dick about words. Like I try to be careful about saying whether I envy something or whether I'm jealous of something. And I think, from in the normal like day-to-day vernacular, that's not any different. You could say like, "Oh, I'm so jealous of your Porsche." Right? Whereas like I feel like I would say, "I'm so envious of your Porsche and I'm so jealous of anybody but me having a Porsche."
I think about this difference too much, and
Do
it's
you?
because of
but
you,
they
and I
both
don't
relate
know.
to covetousness. You don't covet your neighbor's ass.
Ru-
Isn't that what it says?
Usually,
Well, no, doesn't it say don't covet your neighbor's ass or his wife? I'll have to look it up. Do you have a preferred version in your church?
I don't know. We do have a
I'm
weird
gonna do
Bible.
New International Standard.
Yeah, that's like the normie Protestant, and
Well, there's
because
several.
because of the whole Latin thing, when Vatican II came around, we kind of had to scramble and make our own Bible. Why am I saying this? Like I was part of the
interested.
committee. Yeah. And so it's mostly this standard, but like with a couple little tweaks. For example, the whole Catholic guilt thing is also tied up with confession, right? And the idea of
And original
like,
sin,
okay,
right?
yeah, yes, and but yes, and confession, it's like, oh yeah, you go and your sins are washed away. No.
God already
You
knows about your sins, but you're the one who has to admit your sins.
but not only that, no. You also need to do the penance that the priest has given you. It is not like evangelicals where you recognize your sin, but then because you've
Personal
let
relationship.
yes, and that's like the big.
Oh, yeah.
We're different. No.
Oh yeah,
you
Martin
don't just
Luther was
get
onto
into
this a
heaven.
pretty long time ago.
Yep.
He nailed his feces to the door.
No, his
This is from
fudge bucket
Exodus-
was right there.
No, that's not the funny word. Word jokes aren't funny. Exodus 2017, and again, this is not King. Let me see. I'll bring up King James. People will be happier if it sounds fancy. I'll just do. Let's see, King James. It's not a great translation, but okay. This is Exodus 2017 from KJV. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So coveting, coveting isn't that kind of, it's a form of envy, isn't it?
I still don't really understand the difference between jealousy and envy.
Well, I mean,
I'm
like,
not doing a bit. I
don't mean
really
to-
don't.
I could be completely wrong, and I'm certainly not going to look it up. But I think people say jealous because that's the word, that's the word we use for things. But my understanding is that envy is when you wish you had something. Okay, this is probably not correct, but just to make the contrast, I think envy is when you really want something that someone or other people have, and I think jealous is when you when you want someone else to not have what you have. Like you could be jealous. I think you could say properly, I'm jealous of my spouse. Meaning, I'm jealous of that. But the jealousy there means I don't want that person to be with other people or for other people to be attracted to them or whatever. And so I think it's two shades of covetousness. Title. Because people love Bible stuff. We don't talk about the Bible enough on here. Or faith, for that matter.
I did the thing and I looked it up, and this is actually
So you Googled it.
you're right. Envy, a 2-person dynamic. Jealousy, 3-person dynamic. Which which
The
is
covetous,
like
covetous thruple.
That's not funny.
Wasn't supposed to be funny. It was just words.
More jokes aren't funny.
I don't think you like doing this show.
Why do you think that?
Why do you say that?
Because I like to ask questions.
Oh.
I could do this all day. Have you figured out yet why I ask questions reflexively?
Yeah. Lots
Why?
of times. Well, I keep telling you that I figured it out, and then you go into some kind of a fugue state about it.
I'm present.
You ask questions because for the most normal human reason, which is you're not sure what to say. And if you go to the wisdom document, there's actually a line about that. If you don't know what to say to someone, either say nothing or ask a question. And then you ask questions because you don't know what to say.
Yes, and
You're doing that funny bit about improv.
No, there's a very funny bit about improv at the beginning of weapons. Like, you know how theaters now have like a PSA, don't touch your phone, otherwise
sure.
the theater will burn. And I will put it in notes, but there's
You're trying to avoid talking about the Bible or your feelings?
Oh, I am trying to avoid talking about the Bible and my feelings because the current events are happening in the. I know. Well, people with them can. But no,
People
I'm
with
just
lots of
trying
things
to. Just sad about current events, and so I'm
Sorry,
deflecting.
I have a light that's about to fall on my head, so I just very quickly need to. There we go. Okay, I think. Oh God. Okay. Yeah, you saw the news. Yeah.
You texted right before it got on the Zoom call. I'm like, oh no.
I just wanted to put down my prediction in our super secret private text channel. I wanted to put down my prediction that I will say here privately, which is that Donald Trump will use this as a basis for sending the National Guard to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Is my feeling.
I don't have any.
I'm sorry, I'm still adjusting this light thing. I almost died just now.
Oh, no.
Did you hear about his little press conference / cabinet meeting yesterday? It was like 3 hours long. It was just a televised. I'll send you an article about it. That guy's not okay, man.
Well, what was really funny about the whole I'm going to send the National Guard to Chicago.
That's where you live.
Brouhaha. Yes, it's me here. And he just said it off the cuff, and he's like, there's screaming in Chicago, right, JD? And didn't he say, I think he said JD and not vice president, which was so funny. And he's like, yes, sir. And he just says words, and then
He's not even asking a question. But I mean, don't you think some of that, just I'm becoming a little bit cable news here, don't you think some of that comes out of how much he loves doing events where he gets a reaction from the audience? Like sometimes it feels like he's like, oh, I just said something and I liked the way that sounded and people made a noise that I liked. So the more that happens, the more that becomes something he says over and over, whether it's his big, beautiful bill or what have you.
He's unironically sort of doing like his own little yes and though, because it's the National Guard, woohoo.
Yeah.
And then it's a great word, Chicago, and but Chicago, big scary, and
big
it's
shoulders.
right, JD,
Big feet,
and it's
big
like
shoulders. That's what they say.
No, there's women, they're wearing the red hats. American, beautiful African American women with the same hat he's wearing.
What? Is that something he said?
Yes, he said it was. He said in Chicago,
I didn't watch a ton
there's
of video
hats
about
like
it. I just read this article that made it sound like such a circus, and he wears his own hat. You sent the thing about him not wearing a tie, so you were speculating that everybody didn't realize there'd been a change in the dress code, so they had to take off their tie.
Well, he's sitting there with his hat sort of askew, and he's got his shirt on in a way that clearly he never had a tie on. And then suddenly, not suddenly, but all of the men around him who I've never seen without a tie
Sure.
in the White House, let alone any sort of political press conference or I mean, God, they fucking wear ties on podcasts. Suddenly, none of them have ties. And it was just something was there because it was also not like an Oxford collar that is designed to be worn without a tie. That, like, some of those shirts needed a
Right.
Windsor knot.
No,
And
he's got what do they call it? Yeah, I know what you mean, though, but the regular pointy collar, typical one. Yeah, and there used to be a lot of advice going around about how to dress for things. And I think a lot of it's still, I don't know, I feel like it's old fashioned maybe, but it's good advice. You know, I was remarking to my kid today about, dressing for the job that you want and how, like, I don't know what job he's dressing for, but he's going to get it. He's so sharp. He wears linen shirts now.
good.
And, it's
they're
a
so
terrific
comfy.
look. But, that you should be dressed as, so like if you're going to a meeting or you're going to a party at your boss's house or whatever, but something where you need to be deferential and respectful of basically you need to be dressed at least as well as the person who's the most powerful person there. So like if the leader is wearing a giant suit and stovepipe pants and a very long tie, you got to do something similar, that you don't want to look more casual than the powerful person. That comes off as disrespectful, or that maybe you're like not a player. Have you ever heard that advice?
In the past, I have, but recently, like in the Trump-ish era, I've also heard the opposite, because then you're upstaging someone. It's like you're taking
Look at
it more
Zelensky
seriously.
with the suit. I mean, all that stuff,
But
Well, you know all that, right? Like how he was criticizing him because Zelensky, as a point of, I mean, I don't have that strong of an opinion about Vladimir Zelensky, except that he should do the right thing. Tell Zelensky to do the right thing. Remember that emo song? But I think what happened was when the war happened, he said, "I'm going to wear this military garb until this is over."
which is not
There's all kinds of reasons that's a
uncommon.
smart move.
Well, it's also tradition.
I mean, Stalin kind of did that. Mao kind of did that. But I mean, Churchill didn't, and
He
Roosevelt.
did in his visits to the
Well,
White
because
House.
he was in the Navy. He used to be the Secretary of the Navy. He's a big Navy guy.
I thought Zelensky. I can't
Zelensky was a
remember. I know, and he did the. He did the show, but then I thought he.
Oh, anyway,
I don't
no,
follow.
it's just to say that that to me that sticks out as an example of somebody that he's already sort of. I don't really want to talk about him too much, but he's already not deferential enough and not thankful enough, and all of those things. Anyways, but I don't know where that stands today. I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day. It's such a funny story. I should tell you in the after show about a funny thing that happened. But we were talking about we both knew this guy, the same VC, Sand Hill Road VC in the 90s, and he was the lead investor and VC for our .com company. And it's whatever. It's Silicon Valley in the late 90s, so I'm wearing cargo pants and some kind of $90 shirt and electric media blue shirt. And, it wasn't a big tie kind of place unless it was a sales thing. The sales guys always would get dressed up. But when this particular guy, who was a retired basketball player that now was the lead of he helped fund pets.com, he helped fund us, he would come in, and all I can remember very specifically is he was dressed very casually, and he would always bring his dog, which, as much as people bring dogs everywhere now, it was kind of weird to bring a dog to an office in 1999. And I don't remember him if he would specifically take off his shoes, but he had at least driving moccasins. And I think that is a post, well, he was alive at the time, but a post Steve Jobs era sort of power move, where people go, oh, if you're the really big guy, you can wear a bathrobe, like the trillionaire on Alien Earth. You deliberately dressed way down, and that's your sort of power thing. But I don't. But it was funny because we both remembered him being like that and like being a not very nice person who was not particularly talented. He was good at basketball, but then he was just a guy with a dog that invested in dog shit. You know, like us, like me. $37 million down the tubes.
I don't know what
they told
that
us we weren't spending
reference
money
is.
fast enough.
It kind of sounded like the Menards theme song.
You can't get a B round till you spend your A round. They'd say. We had an event. We used to go to very, very, very costly, like industry events, you know, like trade shows and stuff. And one time, it was the boss's girlfriend came up with this idea. We give out pot holders with the name of our .com on it.
Oh, literal. Okay, I'm like,
You know, like for
Were
imprint for
pipes
certain
called-
type situation where you get pot holders made that say nameofcompany.com on it, and you give those away to brokers and agents, real estate people. Because, you know, you're
they're
going to
in
want
the
to walk
kitchen.
around San Francisco with an oven mitt in a bag. La la la.
For a second, I'm like, that's such a nerdy way to call a pipe or any sort of marijuana thing. Like, oh yes, that is a pot. But no. Was she an older lady or was this?
No. She was a way too confident lady. She was a confident mistress.
That's how they
And
get
therein lay the problem. Boy, it was a weird time. It's probably a weirder time now, but I think the Bible's interesting. You know, it's in a lot of places, including hotel rooms.
Still?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Gideons, man, they're serious. They're not fucking around. They want to put
That
Bibles
is
in hands. I kind of
that's
respect
a
the Gideons, though.
documentary I wanna
respect the Gideons, though,
see.
because it's not really so much, I don't think, exactly about religion. It's just about having Bibles, which I think is kind of nice. And then if you go to Marriott, you also get that Mormon book. 'Cause
Yes.
They're Mormon-based.
That I knew. Someone, hello there, listeners. Can someone make a documentary about the Gideon Bible industry? Because
Is there a deadline for that, or how much time do they have to do that?
I'm gonna say 2028 because you know
So they could do
there's no
pre-production
more.
now.
Yeah, there's no more pets.com money when it comes to documentaries unless you make like 20 episodes on
Pets.com money.
Netflix.
Oh, you mean like easy, accessible investments?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That and I want a Minitel documentary because I know it existed.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my God, really?
Okay, I'll find out.
That's the internet's, that's France's internet. And
okay, yeah. I've watched lots of good videos on that English system they had. Oliver Minitel, Brazilian former footballer. That's probably not it. Yeah, I see here. Teletel was an interactive video text online service accessible through telephone lines. Huh. What's novel about it to you?
I don't know that it was in France mostly. And why didn't other European countries have it? I mean, there was no EU. The Wikipedia page is really sparse compared to other, niche tech networks. Mm-hmm. And I want to know. Please, Netflix. I know. Please, HBO. I know the yogurt murders are very important, but
if Minitel murdered somebody, Netflix would do it.
Yeah.
Or you're watching that Amanda. You don't watch TV. Never mind. The Amanda Knox show is very good.
It's
an Amanda Knox thing on one of the things, and it's really, the actress in it is wonderful. The headline on it for most people is that it's produced by Monica Lewinsky. But it's also, I mean, with that aside, that's cool and very interesting. But it actually is. I'm really enjoying it. What a terribly frustrating story. I guess I missed the whole Amanda Knox story, but boy, is it ever horrible. Woof.
I have no idea.
A woman in Italy is charged with killing her roommate, and all of the sort of the questioning and the investigation was ridiculously botched by these provincial police officers. The crime scene was just totally a mess. There's this really interesting lunatic cop who is obsessed with serial killers and wants to make sure that Miranda gets her justice. by putting Amanda Knox away. But here's one. Like here's one. They take her phone away and they look at her phone, and she's so cute. She's really, and she's, famously, Amanda Knox, the person, is famously like kind of quirky and maybe a little bit neurodiverse. And but like unimpeachably like one of the prettiest people you've ever seen and one of the most charming people you've ever seen. They take her phone away, and her boss had said to her, I don't need you to work today. And she wrote back to him before smoking marijuana and having sex with her boyfriend. She wrote back and said, "Okay, thanks. I'll see you later." And there's a whole episode where the Italian phrase for "see you later" is the title of the episode, because the Italian police did not understand that that's English language American vernacular for hasta luego, right?
Oh my God.
They took it to mean that was a plan to meet later, and that became a big part of the basis for this. She was not given a decent translator or a lawyer. She got railroaded hard. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Your main assignment is Alien Earth, which I'm guessing
that's my weekend. I have a boys' weekend. Matt's working, so I'm doing Alien 2 and
I don't know.
Alien
It's probably
Earth.
just me. It's probably oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
You get to meet Newt. Oh,
I'm very excited.
the second one's so good. It's so funny. This morning I was, apropos of nothing, because I started watching Alien 3 again the other night. And I think David Fincher does a lot with what he's given. And he does a good early David Fincher movie, but it's good, but it's not great. It does have Charles Dance in it. But I'd shaved and I did a little cleanup of my hair a little bit. And as it happened, I'm wearing two different Mack Weldon garments. I bought my first. I'm wearing like a pretty trim, like short sleeve undershirt, and over that I'm wearing a kind of shirt called a Henley, which has 3 little buttons on it.
Those are good. You're very handsome today, Merlin.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll send you this photo because
Henleys look good on
I looked at
everyone.
myself. Well, it's a little mooky, but I I looked at myself and I thought I look like I'm in the cast of Alien 3. I'll send this to you. Where are you here you are clicking. There's Alex. Because it's all guys with shaved heads in prison, including the great Charles Dance.
Cast of Alien 3.
You'll mainly know Charles Dance, Tywin Lannister.
Yes.
But
oh, this is so funny.
But don't look at my shades of gray. Don't I look like I should be in an alien prison colony? Oh, look at those eyebrows. Look at those eyebrows go.
But also that you should be in charge, not, you're not a private. I think
I need a regional English accent to be in charge. If I was from the north. Hello.
Is that where Alien 3 takes place?
No, the one guy in it. So you won't know until you see Alien 3. I'm glad you're watching Alien 2. That's really cool. And I hope you like Alien Earth. I don't want to oversell it. I disagree with the criticisms I've heard, even from my dude stories of old. Like, I don't think it's just like a lame rehash of the Alien. Like, I think it's deliberately, because it's fucking Noah Hawley, it's deliberately touching on themes and mise en scène of the first 2 Alien movies in particular. And I think it's well done. And I like the cast. And I love Wendy. You're going to meet Wendy.
That's what sold me on it, because Alien 1 is phenomenal. What
a fantastic movie in so many ways. It's even got clinky chains and dripping, like drippy water. Remember like the Harry Dean Stanton scene?
It does.
It's got drippy water and chains.
You got puddles, you got all types.
It's got all the classic Alien elements. Women we don't listen to. They just want to get home.
Both artificial and Sigourney style.
No, they don't make. I don't think they make fake women. It's all fake men, right?
No, Mother is.
Well, that's a
do you
computer.
not? Well, yeah, she's a fake lady.
But Mother speaks in code, like a lot of women. I like that movie a lot. What else did I have written down here? So I thought that I looked like, I wanted to talk to you about screw worms and make sure you're learning about screw worms. And what else? I don't have too much else written down. I've got things
I'm still
for the challenge.
a little bit in shock that you didn't know about, or rather had not seen Weapons, and then just
I don't
posted.
go to the movies much.
True, but you find ways to see movies, and that's why
I still haven't seen Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, neither have I.
Yeah, but that's one of my all-time favorite comics.
Yeah. Is there a reason you don't go to see movies a lot?
It's kind of a pain in the
anymore?
butt. I mean, my wife is not, whom I love, is not a big going to the movies person. She goes to the movies probably once a year. And mainly it's just something my kid and I always did, especially through the MCU era. But
Now he's wearing linen.
yeah.
Fancy, man.
But I know I like going to Alamo and stuff like that. But going to the movies at our local, like we got this mall right near our house, which is where our Apple store is and our Trader Joe's and Stonestown Galleria, like just down the road. It's like a mile from our house, is where like we do a lot of mall adjacent things. And that theater is no fun to go to. It's just also the people just suck. People in movies it's just no fun. It's been true for years, but like it's not getting any better.
Okay, I forget that you're not like exactly Alamo adjacent because
Our
for a
Alamo is in
long
the
time,
Mission, and so I take a Waymo to get there.
See that, not jealous because I'm very glad that you have it, but incredibly envious of the Waymos.
It's the best. There's an article. I haven't found the article. Madeline just read it to me, but they have some initial numbers on safety that are bananas. Yeah.
In what way?
No, in the way you'd hope.
Okay.
Once you've had the opportunity to be in a Waymo, you get this. It's very conservative in the way it moves around. And but the number of different kinds of incidents involving collisions and injuries is surprisingly high, 2 figures lower in Waymos versus other people over the same amount of miles. It's pretty crazy.
That makes
They're safer than
sense
people,
to me
and you definitely feel
because
that when you're in the car. Like they're way safer than people.
just thinking about the sort of media landscape around robots in general, every time anything maybe sort of bad happens, it's just everything on all of my timelines. Hey, Alex, look what happened.
Yeah.
You're a bad person.
Which I have to say,
So-
I do to some extent understand.
I do, but if it was actually
But lacking context about a broader landscape, it sometimes comes off just as basically like old man yells at clouds.
Yes. And if there was any sort of bonkers Waymo situation, I feel like it would be a constant.
Syracuse tells me those
meme.
Jags they have are $200,000. I don't know if that's true, but that's what he says. It's a costly automobile. Plus, then all the smarts, make it very costly. But
Uber used to be, was it all Lincoln Town cars or whatever the fancy schmancy thing
for a couple
was?
of years,
For
all my
ye-
Uber experiences were with black cars,
Yes. And now
including
it's
some
racist.
very upsetting things that happened.
Continue,
I know,
please.
one of the first Ubers I ever took probably was coming home from some kind of an event. Me and my friend Jesse Char, and Jesse lived kind of in a Castro-ish Church Street area, and like she got dropped off, and the guy took me home, and he was kind of weird, and like driver was just kind of odd and talking a lot, and whatever. It was fine. As it happened, I got that driver another time. And he said, I've driven you before. I said, oh, no, remind me. He said, yeah. I drove you and your Asian girlfriend.
Oh, boy. Gotta love.
So, I mean, that's probably the worst thing he's ever said or done.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because as we've learned from all the sex men, most people only do something bad once. So
That's probably the
there's no
most
pattern. That reminds me, though, speaking of Jeffrey Epstein,
Okay.
I have the first challenge idea in a long time that I've actually been legitimately excited about. You want to hear it?
Go on. Yes.
What's the matter with you? Why are you being like this? What would you like this show to be? I'm doing everything I can to bring this to you in a way that will not upset you. What is the problem?
I'm extra on
I mentioned
edge.
the New York financier, Jeff Epstein, and you immediately go into some kind of conniption?
It's not a conniption. I'm excited to hear why you're very excited about a challenge involving Jeffrey Epstein.
No, I said speaking of Jeffrey Epstein.
The New York financier.
The New York financier. I have not, I haven't formalized this yet, but just to keep it simple, and it would be a very abbreviated version of this, but you know what we need to do? We need to do something that everybody in America needs to do, which is produce a manual about how to deal with you and your house.
I agree.
Here's a manual about how to please me and how to take care of and potentially how to but basically, and I downloaded a copy of the manual. What we're talking about here is something I feel like it's been around for a while, but it's gotten attention again lately. Alex has talked about it a lot. And it's a manual given to everybody who's on staff at the various Jeffrey Epstein properties. And it has extremely detailed, I think it's pretty well done, actually, pretty well written for what it is. It's clear what you need to do. And the idea is stuff as simple as how to stock Elaine's bathroom, or a lot of it is how to how to deal with our guests and how to be when you're on staff here. But it's just, to me, that is, boy, I could really use that. People are going, oh, Karen, feeding of the introvert in your life. Grow up. But I would love to be able to hand people something, maybe even just a card that's here's your instructions for how to deal with me.
This is sort of
You will refer to me only as Mr. Personality.
Fuck,
I'm very pleased to help you, Mr. Personality. And I also I want to say, because I'm guessing Ghislaine probably wrote this, I also really do like the whole, something I believe in, that I understand why informally over the years we've gotten to a point, I don't like it, but I understand why, as our culture has gotten more casual and people put their bare feet on the bulkhead of the plane. I understand everybody needs to do their thing. But I don't like it when you say thank you to somebody and they say no problem. Or if it's a waiter, they say not a problem. Or, you could also, if you work, I think you should say you're welcome. I think in most cases, you probably also shouldn't say thank you. Somebody says thank you to you, say thank you, and you go, thank you. Yes.
But what if it's not actually welcome and it is just not a problem? Because if your words, man.
Can you give me an example? When would that come up?
I thank you for bringing me milk. No problem. That is something
instead of you're welcome. That's better than you're welcome.
Because, if you aren't actually, if it wasn't welcomed, the task
that seems like
wasn't
it's your
welcomed.
fault as the milk consumer, the nominal milk consumer. That's your hang up.
I didn't say that wasn't the case, and you know it. You're right.
It's a terrible example, Alex. It doesn't illustrate your point very well at all.
My point is I am not welcoming the fact that I'm not welcoming their thanks. You shouldn't have had to thank me in the first place.
What would you say if I said thank you for the milk? What would you say?
Well, I like you.
You say no problem.
I would say you're welcome because I'd be happy to bring you some milk.
It sounded like you said I love you. What did you just say?
You're welcome, because I would be happy to bring you milk. It would be a welcoming request.
I got to pull up the document here. Epstein House Manual, I've named this, and it is in my... Hey, everybody, this is your once a year reminder that every time you get a new device, you should, even before it arrives, you should download a PDF of the manual and put it on a cloud drive, is my suggestion to you. This is called Household Manual for three, I don't want to blow up their OPSEC, for this address at Palm Beach. Contents include introduction, grooming and guest relations, proper language, answering the phone. So grooming and guest relations, try and anticipate the needs of Mr. Epstein, Ms. Maxwell, and their guests. Can I just point out also in passing that for somebody who had hardly anything to do at all with Jeffrey Epstein, she comes up an awful lot in this.
Yes.
Almost like she had a role in producing this because she was so involved.
I thought it was confirmed that she created it, and that's
but when you hear that tape of the of Todd Blanche's tremendous interview with her, now that she's going to camp in Texas, she used to be She used to have a tasseled uniform in Tallahassee. And now she's going to camp. Always address guests by their name, Mr. Smith, Ms. Smith. Do not discuss personal problems with guests. Okay, that's going on. I'm stealing that one. Don't discuss your personal problems with me. That's going on the list.
That's a good one.
Unobtrusive. Okay, this is unobtrusive is the key. Unobtrusive is the key.
This is a or rather, I didn't want to send you spoilers, but this manual inspired me to write my own, like,
you already did the challenge?
No, partially. It needs to be updated because this is from like 2023, whenever it first came out, because I also have a guide for our apartment when someone watches our cats, like if we're away.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I made a 5-page PDF on how to use our TV for when people would house sit for us.
I don't know how to ask this. I do have something to say. Is it that your TV's difficult to use, or that you want
I'm sorry,
them
I didn't mean to interrupt you? No, it's that it's connected to a we got a TiVo. This is circa 2001. I made it specifically for our dear friend Christine when she was going to house sit for us when we went to Canada to see Sloan. And so we hadn't had a TiVo very long. But in the same way that my stepfather, who was horrible, could never understand that you always leave the TV on channel on 3 and then use the cable box to change the channel. He could never understand that. It drove him crazy that he didn't change the channel like he had for 40 years, right? So I'd have to say to somebody like, well, I mean, a classic one is like to get the audio, you got to hit tape monitor or CD or whatever on the component stereo system.
You would be an incredible Airbnb, what are they called? Host? Sommelier?
Oh, I would leave so many laminated notes. Oh, my goodness.
It would be exactly. And they would be
hate it so much. I'm still mad about all of the work that we had to do in Hawaii. I'm still mad. I spent like a day cleaning that place.
Wait, as in like it was part of the
You ever stayed
agreement?
in Airbnb?
I don't think I've ever stayed in Airbnb other than for
these
novelty
days especially.
reasons.
It used to be it was all about coziness and doing like a fake B&B. And I really gravely dislike B&Bs to begin with. But, now it's just a rental property with a ton of rules. And all the stuff you're allowed to do and not to do. Let's get to the important stuff. Proper language. What you say is as important as what you do. That's very true. This is going to be in mine, too. I might just use this document. I think we use the same moisturizer.
It's really good.
Well, me and Ghislaine, we use the same moisturizer, if you know what I mean. Like the massage
that's the
boyfriend's
biggest problem
feet.
I have. Have you gone to the guest toiletries scope? You're going to give Jeffrey Epstein can't afford better mouthwash than Scope?
Well, maybe that's because that's like a comfort food for some people.
No, but it is.
I mean, you could give people Ferrero Rochers, but they'd probably rather have M&Ms.
No, I don't buy it.
Pay attention to how you speak to Mr. Epstein, Ms. Maxwell, and their guests. You do not say, yeah, sure, no problem, you bet, gotcha, right. That's what Harry Dean Stanton says. And I don't know. You do say, yes, Mr. Dingleberry. Of course, Ms. Dingleberry, my pleasure. It is no trouble at all, with pleasure. And these are pretty much straight up like hospitality industry. I told you, I used to, my first roommate in San Francisco at the house I'm living in now was the food and beverage director of the Ritz-Carlton. And,
holy fuck, I did. Oh my God.
He was the best. Oh my God, this guy. Yeah, Richard. And he's English, very English. And so whenever he answered the phone, his name's Richard. And every time he answered the phone, he'd go, hello, Richard. As his way of saying, hello, you're speaking to Richard. He'd go, hello, Richard. And so we just started calling him Hello, Richard. Mm-hmm. His cat Beaujy used to shit all over my stuff. He had this cat, this very long-haired cat.
Oh,
shat on my. Sorry. Well, that was no good memory though. That wasn't the cat in Tallahassee that shat on my pillow. This is a different cat, and we'd hear Richard from the next room saying because Beaujy had taken a shit somewhere, and you just hear Richard from the next room going, "Oh, Beaujy." And he said that this is what he said. I'm not going to look it up. But the thing he said is that internally, food and beverage director, that's a pretty big deal at the Ritz.
Yeah. Holy shit.
And he said their sort of internal motto or, guidance was, we are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. I've always loved that.
That is delightful.
Did you ever watch The Night Manager with Tom Hiddleston?
No.
He definitely has that vibe. And you get it to an extent in White Lotus, right? But like in Night Manager, you really get that. Like when you talk to Tom Hiddleston and he's your hotel manager / super concierge, like he will, the way that Tom Hiddleston, oh my God, The Night Manager is so good. And you know who's in it?
No.
Elizabeth Debicki.
Okay.
She is terrific in it. There's sometimes if you're around somebody like Hello Richard, like you stand up a little bit straighter and you act a little more, like a grown up. And I think we're ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. I think it encourages people. Everybody at the Ritz, this is true. This is not just some like, Tom, what's his name, quality guy from the 80s. This is not just bullshit. Every single person who works at a Ritz is empowered to stop what they're doing to help a guest until it's escalated to the person who can take care of it. So like the person who's like, very respectfully cleaning your toilet, like if you're confused about your Toblerone, they can stop what they're doing, escalate that to the correct person above them, and then they will stay there with you or help you deal in any way they can. They will do everything that they can to help you. I always thought that was kind of cool.
This is another instance of when I did, and I guess I really didn't know what to say, so I started asking questions. My grandparents' condo in Florida, building right by the Ritz-Carlton in Naples. Of course, the only city, Naples, Florida, the only city in America with 2 Ritz-Carltons. Don't know why.
Fuck? Why
right?
Naples?
No,
I think of Naples as being like, I don't know Naples. I've only been there, and that's kind of where they lived or live, right?
Yeah.
I always think of it as like people with boats that aren't that nice.
Yeah, it is
like
very
they
much.
have some money, but it's not like fancy. It's not like Boca Raton or something.
That's the thing. It's like a half and half sort of situation that you kind of, and by that I kind of more so now it's almost literal. Like the help ended up in some area and versus the other side of Naples that's right on the Gulf of America. That's so funny that I never mind, my grandparents live on the Gulf of America. But it's funny to me only because I've never thought that in my head.
Let's not act like that's normal and encourage that.
No, it's fucking weird. But I was at anyone can go up to the turns out if you are, well, I'm sure if you're white and don't smell bad, you can just walk up to a Ritz-Carlton bar on a beach and be like, hello, can I have a strawberry daiquiri, please? And they don't ask for ID. And when you're 20 years old, that's very exciting.
Oh, you're talking about yourself.
Yes. Okay. And so I just started asking the guy questions of like, this is really casual. I'm surprised that the Ritz-Carlton, not that this isn't
because they want to put you at ease. That's the thing. The experience is it's the same way as at French Laundry. I mean, say what you will about Thomas Keller. He's a weirdo. But like my experience there was for so many reasons incredible. But one of my favorite parts, there was the bit where we got the wrong bill for the wine. You've heard that story. That was funny. But mainly it's just the entire staff made us feel so comfortable there. And that's, it's different. French service, like, well, I can't get into it. We're getting too deep here. Also, Ghislaine Maxwell uses a hard toothbrush. I think I like a soft toothbrush. See, I heard that's better for your teeth.
You're making me think more about the scope and how I will always take a Toblerone over M&Ms. That might just be me.
Did she ask for scopes? Yeah, she specifically went scope.
Yes.
Well, that's guest bathrooms. Let me go to hers.
Exactly. So I'm wondering,
you know what she did, though? She's being very ego assertive. A lot of the shit she wants is what gets given to the guests.
But there are some specific changes, and I wonder if there are specific guests that often frequent there, but you don't want to say Mr. Whoever's room. So that it just so happens then the guests all get scope.
Right. Like you prefer a blonde who's good at algebra. But also at the Ritz, according to Richard, and this is what's that guy's name? That guy I'm thinking of, Tom Peters. Tom Peters. He had all those books about quality, and that's, if you've ever heard the story about the time Nordstrom accepted snow tires and gave a refund, even though they don't sell snow tires, all those kinds of stuff. I think he's the one who popularized a lot of those. But one is true, like the person who comes in, they notice, like, here's your cookies, blah, blah, and they notice which cookies you ate and didn't eat and make a note of that. And they notice what radio station you were listening to. So, like, when you arrive at a Ritz-Carlton, back in the day, in the 90s anyway, it would be tuned to the kind of, either the radio station you like or the kind of music or whatever that you like. I think stuff like that's neat. I could see people thinking it's creepy, but if you do it in a low-key way, that's just good service. The same way you would adapt anything, whether that's you're a server who's adapting to, like, I'm going to treat this, I almost said hen party, that's the English term. I'm going to treat this bridesmaids party probably differently than this couple that's obviously having a tense conversation versus this 6 guys who order steak. Like, those are all different things a server has to respond to. That's why Susan Roderick is so good at it. She just makes everybody feel bad.
God, wasn't
that funny?
That was fascinating.
Why don't you tell me about the $1,200 wine? Oh, Susan, here's $400.
What I really enjoy about the hospitality industry in general, and my weird adjacent to it, when you're asking people like servers or whoever working in a hoity-toity place, they're like, so doesn't it like suck? And like, they're like, no, like people get just as mad here as they would at McDonald's. Like, it is, there might be more assholes, but if you can do something nice for them, you prevent all the problems. And doing the detailed work of just making someone happy is basically the same as any sort of small perk that you get at a job, and not only that, you get tips. It is kind of fulfilling. And I'm like, really? And so this guy is like, what would you like to eat? And being me, I was like, I don't like a peanut butter sandwich, because I panicked. And then, like, 15 minutes later, a guy came out. He changed out of his, oh God, I forget what it was called. It wasn't called his like formal whites, but he was one of the servers in the like nice kitchen place, but they don't have peanut butter sandwiches.
But he worked it out.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's weird. I don't have money to give you.
I think, it's a different way of approaching that kind of job. And honestly, I was much further to the other end of the spectrum because of the kinds of places that I worked at when I was a busboy and a waiter. And honestly, a lot of what I did at a busboy was completely skills that were so reusable for being a waiter later on. But, I mean, I'll give you one this is so seemingly relatively easy. I don't know. I imagine everything differs depending on whether you're working at a chain or a local place and how busy it is and how high end and what you anticipate.
Well, that's the idea is like you mentioned it. They have agency in their job to do their job well. It is not.
The example I was going to give is it's a really simple one. But, when you've got like especially like a young child, maybe a baby, maybe a toddler, but really kids of any age, I used to appreciate it so much when we'd sit down and, it depends on the kind of place, right? Are you going to order drinks? Is there da-da-da-da? But like, I'll tell you, the thing that would make you would win my heart is without even asking, you just bring a little basket of crackers to the table.
Aww.
Or bread or whatever. But just like, it's like I said, like the current, subtitle of the Wisdom Project, which will certainly change, is everybody likes being given a glass of water. I learned this from a woman in our getting ready to have a baby class, and she said, "Don't ask your wife if she wants a glass of water. Always just bring her a glass of water. If she doesn't want the water, she can throw it in your face. But like, when's the last time somebody gave you a clean glass of water and like it made you mad and you didn't want it? Like, nobody's mad about a glass of water. You can stick your hands in it if you want. I don't care. But like bringing crackers, admittedly, now as a waiter, I also know crackers are kind of a pain to clean up after babies have been there. But knowing that there's a little kid at the table, and at that point, the parents or whoever's the adults with the kid are in a position to say, oh, actually, we don't want to spoil her appetite, or he's gluten intolerant or whatever. You can respond, but mainly your response is going to be, oh my God, thank you. Because kids generally have one of two modes at a given time, as probably like all of us, which is like, I'm either not thinking about food at all or I'm starving. And like, you don't have control over when that switch flips. And a little kid waiting for food can kind of be a drag. You follow what I'm saying, right? Just gauging the table, and like, I try to give people opportunities to do those special things for me. And I think sometimes it butts up against policy. But I'll tell you one for me, and I honestly mean this is something that I would really appreciate. And I'm honestly trying to save you effort and frustration. Sometimes I will say to people, could I get a big water? And like, I drink a lot of water. So if there's any chance you could bring us like a carafe or something, that would be awesome. And not just those places where it's a tiny little drinking glass and a cute little, but I love it when somebody like brings me like a big water. Now you don't have to refill it. You don't have to run around to like the least important thing you could conceivably do is like filling somebody's water glass. And I won't be bummed about it, and I won't be looking, and I can like focus over here. And like, I just think little things like that are really nice and can be so memorable in your experience of something. Like when we were you've heard this whole story so many times, but so if y'all don't know, there's a place up in Watsonville called the French Laundry, run by a maniac called Thomas Keller. And there's been some recent stories about him in the last year that are really, really interesting and funny. But, the place is unimpeachably great. At least it was. It was 2 years in a row. It was considered the best restaurant in America. And it's quite an experience to go there. I went there with some pals, and we were all very stressed out about going there because it's the best restaurant in America. And, people save up for years to go there once. And because it's costly, but is it ever worth it? But like, we're so nervous, and I'm trying to make the waiter like me, of course. And I cracked some joke that was really stupid. He said something about blah, 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 Cretaceous salt. And then I said to Veen, like, oh, what's the matter? They couldn't afford Jurassic salt. I made some kind of like periodic timeline joke.
That's what I would do.
But and when I tell you this, I want you to hear my words and what I'm saying, and don't guess what happened and what it meant. But at one point, a little later on, not too much later, the guy came out with a book from the kitchen. Not, and I told you so, and not, here's what you actually meant. But he brought out a book, and to a page, said, the chef asked me to share this with you. Here's the different kinds of salt, and And I was like, that's so fucking cool. You heard my dumb joke, and then you were cool about it. Like, I'm telling that was 5, 6, 10 years ago. And like, that's still so memorable to me.
Mm-hmm. I worry is a strong word. I don't want this to come off being like, yes, I want all the fancy Duchess things, but more so how delightful it can be, yes. Not just in the hospitality industry, but it very much kind of came out of that with like, okay, the more just resources your employees have, and the better they can do work versus their job, which is how I kind of think
you're making this more of like a labor issue, and I think that's a really good point when you say agency and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like the whole obnoxious cracker thing.
That's why when you go into a store and the people come up and keep asking if they can help you, they're not doing that to help you. They're doing that to reduce theft. Unless you're at a very high-end store, the reason somebody comes up to you at Hot Topic and goes, is there anything I can help you find today? While they're folding Doctor Who shirts or whatever, they're required to do that because the numbers show that having people more than once contact you, like make contact with you while you're in a store, makes you less likely to shoplift. So that's not for me. That's for their boss, right?
It always makes me
And at the
really
same time, the way
sad.
you're ordered to talk to the table, hi, I'm Todd, and like crouch down or sit in the fucking banquette next to me. Fuck you, Todd. I'm Todd. I'm going to be your server. How we doing tonight? I'll tell you about some of our, I'm in the middle of a conversation here, and so let's pump the brakes. The classic is like somebody sitting there staring at a plate of shitty food, and they go, how are we enjoying everything? Like, dude, why don't you read the room? When you walk up, ask about what your presence will do to improve this experience for the people who are getting that experience. I don't think this is fancy. I think this is just good work. If you notice somebody hasn't touched their food.
Yes, that is.
Don't ask
that's
them
a
how.
weird, depressing one. But everything
don't say
else.
how we doing. There is no we here.
But that's why there's a floor manager at Applebee's, is because it's like in Office Space, like with the flare, like if you're not seen leaning down and talking to
or maybe a little bit like a pit boss in a casino, where it's your job to make sure that of course nothing's getting stolen, but also that that all of your dealers are like not showing their whole card or whatever. Excuse me, I don't think you say that anymore. Oh my God, it's been an hour. Challenge this week is to externalize something internal. Pew, pew, pew.
I just sort of made a list of things, mostly quotes, more than I would like from... I quote Rick and Morty a lot. Mm-hmm. Maddie and I quote Rick and Morty a lot. And
okay.
I'm not sure why. It is okay.
Well, okay, but you probably enjoy it. Well, what's the problem then?
Because I just keep thinking, why
I like Back to the Future, and I like the second and third movies like as a unit, but I like them differently from the way I like the first one.
No one. I really want to talk to someone who likes not likes, but their favorite is the third movie.
There's a quote from Rick and Morty.
Especially now, whenever I encounter something that, like someone having a negative reaction to something that I'm like, oh, come on, man. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. That is just goes through my head all the time. Like if someone is yelling, like a road rage guy, or someone being mean to a waiter, any type of thing.
I can see that being applicable in a lot of places.
It's just
honestly, yeah.
I don't know. And
it's kind of joke Stuart Lee would make. I like jokes like that.
You
hear that? You hear that? That's the sound of Hackney and Hackney's liberal white culture applauding itself. You pleased with yourselves?
I when I see a person's phone case, I wish that I could bend it a little bit in half to see what it feels like. That's just something I wish I could do.
Is that something that happens on Rick and Morty?
No, I'm not going to do any more quotes. Except that's you. That's what you look like. It's a robot making fun of a teenage girl. And when someone says something stupid, kind of like Trump, that just goes through my head. I just want to touch people's phone cases because I'm curious about what materials are used.
So is this the first one on your list?
That is the second one. The first is the intrusive quotes type thing. I think a lot of people have that. We talk about it all the time.
I didn't understand you'd already started. Okay, so number one on Alex's list of internal things that the world cannot see, but you, let's say, experience often, is quotes from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
The second one, people may not see this, but you're thinking about it, is you wanna finger their case.
Yep. I don't want a 9-volt battery in it or anything. I'm not one of the people who sees something and they're like, I want to put that in my mouth. No, I just kind of want to bend it a little bit. And no,
of course you are. You put stuff in your mouth. You love you. You're a walking Pika problem. Pika.
I've done it but it's not a compulsive thing.
Pikachu in that final incarnation, Pikachu eats mostly dirt. It's Pika behavior, as you say.
Like the animal or the wait.
Oh no,
Pikas
we're doing
eat
that joke
dirt?
about I call it pica behavior, but you call it pika.
Okay, okay.
Pika.
There's so many levels to different Pikas.
What's the
There's the
third one?
blogging the video creation,
Oh, because
the
words can mean
blogging
different things.
service, and the animal that the blogging service is named after.
I get it. The pika. I get it. I get it.
Yes. Yeah. I
Huh. Okay.
Another one is that's very recent. When I'm doing something, I'm like, is this something that might be a potential indicator of a midlife crisis, or is this a crisis of confidence? And more so, I'm leaning towards oh no, this might be a crisis of confidence and might be worth addressing. In like the Jimmy, you know the speech that Jimmy Carter did in.
What? Lust in his heart?
He
Wear a
did
sweater?
a speech talking about having a crisis of confidence, sort of in him,
I
both
love that
himself
phrase. I
and
do
his
love that
community.
phrase. So tell me about this distinction. It's a distinction between what and what. So this is oh, by the way, I was saying the wrong phrase, but the way I'd use this phrase on our 2019 episode, similar to this, was what did I call it? Oh, I wrote it down. It was like private mind movements.
Yes.
Was what we called it. So yours is you sometimes think, you wonder whether something that's happening is something that's a problem, something bad is happening, and you're saying, is this a midlife crisis or a crisis of confidence?
Yeah, more so with me, but sometimes with other people. I don't have any good examples for other
That's
people.
okay.
Maybe
This is hard to do, Alex. That's why it's
yeah.
challenging, literally.
Yeah, well, and for myself, just recently, when I'm like, I should do this thing. Like I should get this is like the 27 guitar problems. It's like, all right, is it because I want the 27 guitars because I am worried about where I currently am as a person and the perception, the perception of others, or do I truly care about this and I want to change something, or am I self-conscious about
Yeah, you
how
don't get to
people
pick
are
how your
acting
brain is
around
wired
me.
about that stuff. You know?
Yeah. Oh, and it's also, or is this a mental health thing? But usually, more so, no, not.
For me, a similar thing there is this, and this is not interesting to the challenge, but for me, sometimes that's is there any chance that this is a distraction? And if it's a distraction, is it a wholesome distraction or an unwholesome distraction?
Yeah.
I did not say good or bad, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's a very good distinction. Is that in the wisdom document?
I don't know. It should be. It's a good word.
Yeah.
See, the world's coming at you and you're seeing stuff and you're perceiving and you're thinking, and sometimes a thing just kind of goes through your head.
Well, and I think I hope that I live to be above 60. But again,
People
I've
wanna
had
live
my
too
time.
long.
I'm
It's
happy.
weird.
I agree, but more 60 mostly just because I want to see. It's like seeing the sequel to a movie. I want to see what my nieces will be up to. You know, it's like I'm waiting for the 6th Star Wars.
Oh, that'd be very disappointing. A lot less cute and very disappointing.
I probably depends on who the director is.
It's inevitable.
I really hope Rian Johnson's in there.
Directing your nieces?
Yeah, I was making a joke about how Rian Johnson should have directed the final Star Wars film and not J.J. Abrams, or I wish that he had. Last on my internalized things is the meme of "Are we the baddies?" When it reverses in my mind.
You know that's the very
when
first sketch in the very first episode of that show?
Really?
Yeah, if you
I
go and
always
watch
thought
the
that was
TV
just
show called That Mitchell and Webb Look, season 1,
that's
episode 1,
good.
the very first sketch is Mitchell and Webb as SS officers in this nighttime battle scene. And Mitchell says to Webb, "Hans, are we the baddies?" Because we have these skulls on our caps. Why skulls?
Whenever I think it's overused, the why skulls, and I'm like, all right. But for this one, I do have an example of when instead of are we the baddies? I think like. Are you really being the goodies when someone or myself is trying to do something like voice their opinions about Harry Potter and how bad it is, or any sort of virtue signaling type thing, or like, man, we shouldn't shop at Target. Like, who is this helping? And just that like reverse. The meme in reverse goes into my mind, and it's a little bit similar because I've fallen the trap too of, do I want people to think I'm a goodie, and just because
right,
and that is my list. I see the floor. Oh, please.
Oh no, I don't interrupt you.
Oh no, I'm done.
But Pat and Max on their podcast had an episode where one time Pat Rothfuss said something. I know you know this, but maybe our listeners don't. Pat Rothfuss said that he'd realized something really important, and boy, has it ever had an impact on me. And I'll explain what this means in a second, but the phrase is, don't compare your backstage to other people's on stage. And the more years that I think about that phrase, the more meaningful it is. Here's the easy version. I can't quote Pat, but I think what he was saying was, when you look at, it's so hard not to talk about Instagram, but, Instagram tends to present people very much on stage. Like where like my problem is I don't fucking clean and like every scene that I take a photo of and like try to make it perfect. And like last night, all I wanted to do is post a pretty picture of the moon. And I realized people would make fun of like the weird angles probably. And so I made a joke about right angles instead. That was very funny. But like, I think we spend a lot of our life consuming people's on stage and comparing it with our own backstage. Meaning, like, we see somebody with all the warts removed, whereas with ourselves, all we see is warts. All we see is flubs. All we see is failed attempts at success. And, it's not really reasonable to compare the best of somebody else to the worst of yourself. Wow. Did you hear that?
I did.
It doesn't... I don't know if I want to change this, but for now I'm going to say it probably doesn't make sense to always compare the best of other people to the worst of yourself.
You should have something like wisdom, or like a something that when the transcription of the episode, no, for you later, for I was going to say for you,
no, for my document.
And then it's like, I put that in the wisdom document because it's really, really fucking good.
Would you like to be my helper and remind me of what I said? I'd love that.
You should not compare the worst, or you should not compare the worst parts of yourself with the best parts
I'm jealous of
someone else.
Or am I envious?
I wasn't memorizing. Merlin, I was learning for my life. I was not learning for the test.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Don't let academics get in the way of your education.
God.
That's what they used to say. Don't let your schoolwork get in the way of your education. It's really true. But then on the other hand, there's going to be a lot of people who are very, very disappointed if you don't do your schoolwork. That's the problem with a lot of these bromides, is that a lot of times people aren't really thinking about the default consequences of a lot of conventional wisdom. Well, then I'll get thrown out of school. Well, bad on you. Schools should be better. No, that's a really good point. Thanks. They should have had a better door on the school or stronger windows on the church.
Oh God, no.
Got to harden that target. I don't have many at all. I didn't make a list or anything. I did look back at my list of private mind moves from earlier, private mind motions or whatever it's called. But one that comes up a lot for me is like a song in my head, because I like music. I listen to music. I sing a lot of music. Like when I'm just walking around, I'll just sing a song, even if I'm not listening to it. What was I singing this morning? Something really weird. But I'll just be like, there's just songs, just music in my head a lot of the time. And it's still at this age of whatever I am, and I really need to remember what my age is. But I'm in my upper 50s, I think. And I frequently have a song in my head and don't realize it for a very long time.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like,
Has this been like your whole life?
I used to keep a list, actually. I used to have it was not a good format for it, but at one point, let me see if it's, no, I'm sure I deleted it in one of my cleanups, but I used to have a thing in Datum where I'd write down the song that was in my head. But what it is also it's interesting to me anyway, because, gosh, I always wonder, apropos of the challenge, like what else is just like going around in my head that I'm not thinking about? You know, what some people call self-talk and things like that. And I think more about things like self-talk because I have the evidence. Again, this is internal, not external. No one can see that I have a song in my head unless I'm going, you know, but like, I'll suddenly go like, oh man, she lived at home in a small apartment across the street from the health department. What I'll suddenly, in that particular song, is there's a way, I have so many different ways I sing along with that song, Mexican Wine. I have so many ways I sing along with it, but one of it is I love Chris Collingwood's delivery on, that's so fine, have another glass of Mexican wine. It's like slightly syncopated, and I'll sometimes be turning that over in my head, and I'll go, wait a minute, you got Mexican wine in your head right now, A. B, wonder how long I've had Mexican wine in my head. Like maybe all morning, like who knows? But then the crazy one is sometimes, and I'm sorry I don't have a specific example, although I'll certainly think of one, where something triggers me, I think, where I hear a phrase. Well, okay, and this is, again, apropos of several challenges, including this one, is the things that trigger you to think a thought, right? It wasn't that part of our old challenge in 2019? Like, oh, when I close the garage door, I go vroom. When I see a baby, wait, you tell me, what do I say when I see a baby? Want to hear it?
Yes.
Baby! So if you post a picture of your baby on the internet, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to respond by going, baby! Or increasingly, if you post a picture of an animal with a mute face, you know what I'm going to say. That's how I say it. His face goes, every time. Our house is very old, and it's probably not ideal for any number of reasons, but sometimes there will be a particular kind of stack or way that a door works or squeaky board or whatever, and when a bunch of things fall on me out of a cabinet or something, I say, trick house! I have no control over that because it's a trick house. When I get back in bed after I urinate and I pull my heavy blanket over myself, I always go, that's nice. And then sometimes I say thank you to no one in particular. You know about me doing robot hands and saying, got that. You've heard that one before. I do that 3 times a day. I walk around and I go, got that. But I don't know. The song one is interesting to me because a lot of times it will be because I'm going to speculate. I don't have any data on this, but I'll speculate. It's that when there's especially a line from a song that I always associate with that, like that sentence is that line from that song. It could be a phrase that's hundreds of years old, but if it's in a certain song, then from now on, when somebody says that phrase, I have to like sing it, kind of. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'll think of examples of this.
I have one that's your fault. Whenever someone makes a sound similar to the part of Not Too Soon where she's like, like if there's then it just goes through where I'm like,
you did that. It gave me shivers.
I can't, the past like 3 years.
God, I love that song.
And it was a part of Almost Famous. I forget, and then suddenly I'm like, forget this.
Oh, so were you actually watching? Did I hear you, Craig? You're watching Almost Famous?
Yes.
That's so funny because that came up today. I was listening to an old episode of Hit Parade really great episode of Hit Parade on what he calls legacy hits. Like, regardless of whatever success this song had in the past, what is the song for Squeeze? Like, what is the song for Elton John? Like, what is the thing that, or like a good one that I thought was very interesting was like Billy Idol. Like, there's the songs I think of as Billy Idol hits, but like, what's the song that like kills it on streaming and everybody associates? The thing is, I didn't know this. Like, Tiny Dancer is absolutely one of my favorite songs, maybe in the top 5. I think it's an absolutely extraordinary song. But I guess I don't remember how famous it was Almost Famous. And we're mentioning it here because there's a great scene in Almost Famous where everybody sings along to it on the band's bus right at the moment when the Cameron Crowe character is thinking about going back home to his cool mom. Is it Frances McDormand? Is it Frances McDormand?
It is.
It's so cool.
This is one of those things where I was talking about, or not talking. It all comes back to fucking Weapons. You were like, hey, listen,
that's just
to
a movie
the show.
from a couple weeks ago, Alex. Don't be crazy.
No, because you were like,
you saw it twice in a weekend, and now you're deranged.
Yes, because you were like, hey, weapons everywhere. Listen, Zach Krieger is on Blank Check. They're talking about Fargo, one of the best movies. And I'm like, yeah, also Frances McDormand. She's great. And then I was like, you know what, also she's great in Almost Famous. I should listen to that. And then, or watch that. And so I was watching that. And then you sent me Velvet Underground album, which I just had never heard.
I'd love to talk more about the Velvet Underground.
Yes.
So you just listened to the Velvet Underground's third album, mostly for the first time all the way through.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of special? And like how quiet?
Special.
Jesus, help me find my proper place. Oh my God. What Goes On? What Goes On should be sampled in a hip hop song. That guitar bit. What goes on in your mind? Oh my God, what a good record. Now I think that's after John Cale left. So it's just Sterling, Lou, Mo, and I think that's before the Yules joined. But isn't that a pretty record? And you were listening to it because the Candy Says, right?
Yes. Yeah. And, that was another...
Yeah.
It goes back to Zach Krieger.
Oh.
Candy did not die of AIDS, unlike the documentary.
Not in 1974, she didn't. Even monkeys didn't have AIDS in 74.
Jesus.
Well, how do you think we got it, Alex? You think it was all Decon Dugas? You thought it was Patient Zero? You ever see On the Band Played On? You ever see that movie? It's a really good movie.
It is very, very good. I interrupted you.
No,
with,
we got to start finding a funny place out. But like, there's one episode of Curious George, featuring Frances McDormand's castmate, William H. Macy, is the narrator of Curious George. Curious George, PBS cartoon in the 2000s. I think one of the great children's cartoons that, at least that I discovered after being a child. It's so much fun. It's so well done. Curious George is so cute. He says the cutest stuff. But there's one where Curious George, it might be called, is it called Curious George Goes to the Restaurant? But it's one where Chef Piscetti is trying to get ready for this fancy food critic to come to dinner. And Curious George is, he's being a little bit mischievous in the kitchen.
He's a little curious. Yes.
Did you ever watch, this, so you probably haven't seen these, right?
No. I've seen clips that... It's weird, but you would put clips online after you and Billy had watched it, and you're like, probably. This is good. And then I'd be like, okay, that's a really good...
I should find this one episode, but there's like 3 different things that Madeline and I still say to this day, and they're absolutely triggers. So there's one where, let's say we just tried delivery from a new cheap Chinese place. And I'll go like, it was pretty good. And, of course, Madeline goes, pretty good. Because the food critic at one point, and it says pretty good, she also says, you said there'd be fresh bread. But there's one where Curious George is trying to find out. He says, well, hot water is interesting because hot water makes some things hard and some things floppy. So if you put an egg into hot water, it makes it hard. But if you put Piscetti into the pot, it makes it floppy. And so at one point, Pierce George picks up like an entire block of cheese and drops it into the boiling spaghetti water, which I think Syracuse would not approve of.
Oh, God.
And Chef Biscotti's like going through the spaghetti water, and he pulls out like an egg and a golf ball and a colander. And then he pulls out this giant chunk of fromage and goes, a lot of cheese. So anytime anybody in the house grates cheese onto food, I go, a lot of cheese. And it's so stupid, and I can't stop, and I don't want to. I have a lot more to say and think about with these things. There's a lot more things I want to externalize and a lot more things I want to think about. I do think it's interesting to realize some of my very delicate and not very interesting insights that I'd like to share. I mean, one is that I think sometimes we have more going on in our mind close to consciousness and awareness than we realize. But no matter how clear it is or unclear it is, it can sometimes still be really hard to like explain that to other people. Something they can't see inside your head. And if they think they can see inside your head, that doesn't mean they see the thing that you're seeing, the way that you're seeing it. I mean, think about how any anecdote, this is going to sound so random. Think about how any like important anecdote that people have heard or you've told over time, maybe that could be me. And the guy saying, as far as I'm concerned, all you new waivers are in purgatory, which I still think about every day. How about this? Add to that, just for the sake of understanding what I'm talking about, a very strong memory of a certain smell. Maybe bad, maybe good, maybe whatever. Like if I, you know what I'm saying? Like when you add another sense to it, it becomes, it sounds so weird. I sound insane. But it's an inside the brain thing that's hard to talk about,
Okay, when you told me that story, which I wrote down, now think about it.
As far as I'm concerned, all you new waivers are in purgatory. And he just said, it sounds like a John Mulaney bit. As far as I'm concerned, all you new waivers are in purgatory. And I don't know if that's something he just said to everybody on Tuesday New Wave nights at the gay bar, but he said it to us.
I just smell cigarettes when I smell cigarettes and stale beer as well as
I think the main smell of a bar is Irish whiskey and beer. That bar, I mean, I used to drink amaretto sours at gay bars. It was a pretty easy drink. But I think of the smell of like clove cigarettes, stuff like that. But anyways, I wanted to say to our listeners, I hope you will continue with this challenge and think about things that are inside your head that are hard to get out. We didn't do a very good job this week, but I enjoyed it. A lot of cheese.
You know what? No.
Chef Biscotti is a friend of Ted and George. He owns an Italian restaurant, and he's a perfectionist chef who refuses to sell substandard food. He'd rather close the restaurant for the day if he's not satisfied with the food of that day.
I have become curious. The spaghetti gets soft. The egg gets hard. What else? What else is there?
I don't know. On our break, when I'm editing, I'll go and I'll find this episode for us. It says here the portrayer is Jim Cummings. I thought that was the guy from Big Bang Theory. But there must be a voice. No, Jim Cummings. Who's Jim Cummings? Oh, that guy. Oh, this guy's totally. He's the. Is it Bugs Bunny that he does? Winnie the Pooh. Who does he do? Oh, look up Jim Cummings. You totally know this guy's voice. Maybe he does Porky Pig. He's a Disney guy.
I'm seeing so many movies that he's in, but God, actual Google really is bad. God damn.
It can be bad, yeah. Oh, Tigger. His famous one today is Tigger, I think.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, my God. I got three more, like just right off the dome.
Go for it.
No, at the end of the... Living on 100 wood. Living on the beginning of the Winnie the Pooh collection that we used to watch all the time. At the end, Winnie the Pooh jumps off the last letter of Winnie the Pooh, and he goes Pooh. Well, and then a butterfly flies away because he said Pooh.
Jesus Christ! Half the time I hear the word jump, I hear gummy bears jumping here and there and everywhere. It's just
no. I'm going to start writing. You know what? I'm going to keep writing these down.
I'm going to start writing more of them down because I'm realizing even if they're references, they are more wholesome than the other ones that go through my brain. And I want
This
to
is one of my favorite kinds
discover
of
the
lists, honestly.
happier
Of
ones.
the random, specifically, I mean, I've been keeping random lists in my life for a pretty long time, but in the whole age of from iOS capture on, or especially into the TextMate era, into the Elements era, into the Drafts era, like my favorite kinds of lists are these. Like if I went to Run X right now, oh my God, what's the oldest Run X I've got? And again, the dates are a little weird because regular tasks, great friends. What does that mean?
Who's on that list?
Oh my God, things I remember about Cincinnati. Oh God, political buzzwords that people love to say. That's from 2017. POTUS, Oval, 08. Per. They also
When did Trump 2.0 become an unironic thing? Why are we calling it Trump 2.0? Who it's his second term. It's not a fucking video game. I don't know.
That's not like a release cycle.
Bothers me. Yeah, I don't know why that bothers me. Yes, I do. It sounds stupid. It sounds stupid every time someone says it. And then I'm like, look at the man with the fucking hat behind the desk with JD Vance who had to take his tie off. Trump 2.0.
That's right. So I wrote down things that I would, before I put these in text expander. Here's things three things I used to respond to people before I had a text expander for it. You can guess. The first one, sorry, I don't argue on the internet.
I got it! Yes!
Yep. Number 2, I just want people to be happy. Number 3, which I don't know if I ever used, but I certainly typed because I really felt like posting it. I find it difficult and very strange whenever people I don't know ask me to explain why I'm not doing something. It's too long, but you know.
But very worthy of being on the
Leftovers
list.
are refrigerated debt. That's pretty good.
That's very good.
Just because you can't see people doesn't mean they're not there. Boy, I write down a lot of good stuff, a lot of really good stuff. Syndromes and
You might be
delusions.
one of the best list writers
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
ever. And I hope that, you said you said of all the nice things I would say about yourself in a Rec Diffs episode, and it made me really happy.
About whom?
About you and the way that you write lists and present information and the way that you think about things and how that influences how that information is presented. And you should make a cool website or something.
Yeah, I mean,
Run all the Run X's.
no, I'm more, just as God made me. Products
We
that
don't deserve it
disappeared.
yet.
Products that disappeared. Look at that. That's a good list.
Products that disappeared?
Yeah, I keep a list of all my products that I'm
Juicero?
mad disappeared. Not for me, but like my deodorant, my shampoo. This
I
is really
bet if
starting
it
to
had been
peter
on
out.
the Epstein list, it would still be... Shit. The Epstein, you know what I mean? If it'd been on, I bet if it was a certain type of scope and Bill Gates needed that kind of scope, it would still be around.
Oh, maybe I should consult.
Yeah. You should get into real estate,
Oh, I should. Real estate's a contact sport. That's a pun.
I know, and I didn't like it.
Let's see, I got anti-patterns. What are my anti-patterns? Let's see. Prompt terminal project. Michael Shannon. Tap ideas. All right. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Torx wrenches. I think now we're really getting into the dregs. Now we're getting into more modern times. Things that need a name. Oh, my God, this list is so long. Oh, my God. This is probably one of my longest Run X's. The things that need a name. The chicken problem, the Photoshop problem. The thing where you say, I'm from Chicago or whatever. The you forgot about problem.
Oh, what's the you forgot about problem other than
What's your favorite TV show?
Fuck.
You forgot about The Wire.
Okay.
Did I? Did I forget it? Or did I realize that if you want all the words, you should get a dictionary. This is a list, and it is curated by me, the great curator. I could be the great curator. Sorry, that was lapsing into Matt Smith a little bit. All right, good excuses.
I didn't know if it was a British guy or if it was because
See the time Larry David was on Conan and he said he had a new strategy for people who want to take photos with him?
Go on.
It was just really funny. He's like, the person comes up and he says, and he like I've said before, any episode with him, any episode with Kevin Nealon, any episode with Timothy Oliphant, those are all great episodes. Somebody comes up and says, "Oh, can I get a photo together?" And he goes, "Oh, geez, I'm sorry, I can't take photos indoors." Can you guess what happens if he's outside?
Oh,
I'm so
well,
sorry.
I would say the same thing.
Oh, that's even
really
better.
Because then you really don't want.
Now you sound like Charles
taking a
Manson or
photo.
something. I live in the walls. Woo! Okay, kids, let's go. That man did Seinfeld.
Oh